Hey.
Hi.
How's it going? Yeah, Ray is here too, as per usual. Yes. So Ray always barks pretty much with the intro. And it's not much of an intro this week because for some reason the show wasn't posted on Bravo, so we couldn't really cut a little thing to lead in with. No, I know, Rhea.
So
I know it's upsetting. Yes, I know.
That'll be our audio.
I know.
Rhea kind of sounds like Teresa, so that's fine. That works for me.
How you gonna jump in without us giving you an intro?
Now that you mention it, you are correct, though. I do agree with that. I think Rhea does sound like Teresa. She's got the accent down for sure.
That's for sure. She's a Jersey bitch.
That's the hardest part. Oh, you know what? This is fucking great. This is where my beer is.
No! Guys.
Stay cold.
Mike just put his beer outside of the screen of the window to keep it cold. We've been looking for it.
For like 20 minutes. And besides the couple of beers that preceded this one, I was like 100 milligrams of edibles. But that's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about some fucking Housewives. And the show is I Don't Want to Watch That. And the website is don'twantowatchthat.com. You can find it anywhere that you get podcasts. And if there is a place that podcasts exist that you can't get this, you let us know at Twitter or Instagram at don'twantowatch. And we'll get it there. That's fucking the bottom line. So we're here this week talking about Jersey, though.
Yeah, second episode of Jersey. But before we dive into the episode, we have a special guest on the show.
And it's not Rhea. Sorry, guys. I was chiming in earlier before my intro. So
yes, we have a special guest. Her name is Lisa. She is... Oh, these dogs. These fucking...
They're the best, aren't they?
Our special guest is Lisa Spychala. She is not only my cousin.
Hey.
She is also a producer, a food stylist, what else would you say? You're a chef? You're not a chef yet. You're a cook.
I'm a cook.
You're a cook.
I'm a cook. I'm a chef in training.
Chef in training.
Professional know-it-all.
Yes,
which is I like to say about
correct.
Producers and lifestyle people.
Lisa and I actually used to work together as producers. We used to do lifestyle segments for a lot of local news shows, SMT, Satellite Media Tours.
A little bit of national, but mostly local. Yep.
Yeah, and Lisa currently, right now, she's doing some freelance production, but she's also been steadily working on the show Lifestyle Today.
Yes, Lifestyle Today. If you're in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, it's on WLNY.
Correct.
And it's a lifestyle show that talks about everything from health and celebrity interviews. Very appropriate. I actually worked with the Marge.
Yes, Lisa has worked with a couple of housewives. So yes, the Marge, Heather from Salt Lake City.
Heather, what's her name?
Our second favorite.
Gina from the OC. And I'm a huge Marge stan, so I'm very excited to be welcomed to the New Jersey. I'm also just like an OG Housewives Bravo, just obsessive fanatic, and I'm happy to be here.
And we all live in New Jersey together. We live in Essex County, and all the ladies are very close by. Melissa Gorga has her MV store in Montclair, which is in Essex County.
Yes. Essex County, Bergen County, they're all super relatable to us because we know these women. We are these
Morris
women.
County too, right?
Morris County.
I was just going to yell out the zip code and I realized I didn't know it. Not the zip code, but the area code. Yeah, people were like, yeah.
Mike's a transplant. He knows it, but he doesn't
718. But I have no idea what this area code would be.
And they're all different. 973, 201, it all varies.
I was going to go with 732.
But thank you guys for having me.
Yes, we're excited to have you. Yeah, so Lisa and I were cousins. We both come from a very Italian Jersey family. So these women are very relatable to us. We know them. They're our aunts. They're our cousins.
That's what it is. We know them almost too well.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Sometimes Jersey's a hard watch for me, and I've told this to Mare. Like sometimes it just gives me anxiety because I can remember fighting with these people in our family in these scenarios. So it's definitely fun to watch and take notes. This is awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
And as somebody who is outside of that family, I can attest that's 100% true. These characters are in their family. And I'm lucky enough to have a part of that.
So. And you're sitting across from two of them right now that are pretty relatable to that.
So let's get right into the episode.
Sure.
Now that all the introductions are out of the way. Episode 2, Licked Up and Down is the name of the episode.
Not to be confused with what I understand to be the Real Housewives of Atlanta episode, which probably should have been titled
Bolo,
that.
And the sex dungeon. I mean, we have to take 2 seconds to talk about it.
I have no idea.
Mike didn't watch it.
Yes.
I did.
I'm actually going to cover my ears because I don't want to hear about it, to be honest.
Because Mike has been working in Virginia during the week, so I've been home by myself. I watched it at home, in my PJs, with my covers pulled up. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was screaming the whole time. Lots of Cooley.
Oh, so much Cooley.
Lots of Cooley. Lots of vibrating panties. Like, first of all,
okay.
Cynthia didn't even want to be
on the show.
Okay, let me tell you something. I related so hard to Cynthia at that point because Candy was going hard as her role as the Dungeness crab of whatever she was. As mistress, she sold it. She was amazing. But to me, if it were one of my friends, I would have been as equally uncomfortable as Cynthia was.
I would have.
Like, I love my friends, but I don't want anyone putting a vibrator in my underwear
panties,
and watching me react to it. That's just too close for comfort for even my closest friends. Me and Mare used to take baths together up until our teen years, and even that I could not handle. So, as much as this is what that franchise needed, it needed an episode like that because it was getting very just kind of like humdrum or into...
Yeah, it's been a boring season.
It's been a boring season. I do appreciate what they've been trying to do with, highlighting what Portia's been doing. I think that was like an important thing to show because it's real and it was what was going on.
Yeah, especially in Atlanta. God,
I can't even imagine. But to me,
that episode was iconic.
Relationships have gotten kind of weird. Like they've just been.
Yeah.
But I liked. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Atlanta, but that episode was definitely needed. And Kenya is where fun goes to die. So maybe we should do another episode to just talk about that episode. But I have a lot to say about Kenya being the fun police on that one.
I probably would have. Try to put myself in any of their shoes. They were so free and having so much fun. I would have had diarrhea the whole time. I would have had a stomach ache and felt so uncomfortable.
But I think Kenya contributed to that because when you feel like you're in a safe space, and even though they're professionals now when it comes from a producer side. They seem to really understand what the producers could do and could not do.
Yeah.
They are professionals enough that they know, okay, so this stuff is all for TV. Yeah. And now we're smart enough to know we're saying goodbye to the producers. We're going to actually have a bachelorette party.
Yeah.
And we know there's cameras, and we're going to do our best to turn them in a way where we know there's going to be something captured. And they did a decent job. If they didn't have Kenya narking on them and just keeping to reintroduce the drama, they would have gotten away with it. But because Kenya just could not let people have a good time and she needed to turn it around, that's why it became a storyline. It wouldn't have had the narration and the context that they would have gotten just from these little offset videos that they could have just maybe thought they knew. Anyway.
Well, and that's why she gets her fucking paycheck.
She deserves every fucking penny because she's the only bitch making storylines up in there. You're all soft. You're all aunties. Yeah. You're all aunties. You all need to get your shit out. But anyway, that is a conversation that I would love to be involved in if we ever do it. But let's talk about the topic at hand.
It sounds like you two should do just a weekly current Bravo roundup.
We should think about
in addition to mine.
I do it to my husband, who's not really listening to me, so I'd love to record it and have people actually give a shit because my husband just listens, but he really doesn't care.
We should. Well, are we
Well, I'm just saying. In addition to mine and yours, archiving Bravo stuff, you two just went on for 5 minutes on one of the Bravo topics of the week, and you're all Bravo-holics. You might as well just throw it on.
It's all I do all day. I work from home. It's my soundtrack to my life is Bravo shows. So it's something I'm very comfortable talking about.
Just throwing it out there, thinking out loud.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you're a good promoter. You're hired.
The birth of a new
I'm
podcast.
It
could be.
All right.
So let's get into Licked Up and Down. Real Housewives of New Jersey, episode 2, season 11.
Is this about a meatball Heather's eating? Sorry, no.
What?
Heather loves meatballs.
Heather does love meatballs. Save the meatballs on the stick. Sorry, I was trying to go off track.
Now you're going Salt Lake City. We're not.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm throwing it all over the place.
Yeah.
You
threw me off, babe.
My bad.
All right,
Marge. I do that all the time.
So wait. So we start the episode in Margaret's house. Right in the midst of Jackie and Teresa's fight, or right at the end of it, rather.
Yeah.
And it's bad.
It's
really bad.
I mean, it's still bad,
really
but
bad.
it's good. Bad, but it's good.
I know.
And almost like her running through like the parking lot. It almost reminded me of like that bank robbery scene in Heat, where they're like running through the streets and like she's like behind the car, like throwing insults back, like throwing C-bombs at us, like Val Kilmer and fucking Michael Madsen's got like
I've never seen Heat.
This is why I need to be here. I mean, I don't know if you feel uncomfortable that I relate to your husband more than you do, but I know exactly what he's talking about.
I've never seen that movie.
And then she's coming out like,
phenomenal.
I win, you want my life,
yeah.
and they just like go back and forth. It's like Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
She's just yelling the C word just as much as she could yell. She's just throwing it. And I'm so happy that before this episode aired, I was able to see the unedited version on Instagram where I could actually hear her spitting the C word. Because then I knew what she was saying, and I realized like how intense this was.
Yeah.
You know, so it actually helped me kind of contextualize what happened.
You're all caught up, right? You've binged all of Jersey.
So I'm caught up on every Housewife franchise to date.
No demand.
OC too?
OC, I'm behind. No, yes, you're right. OC, I am behind because
I'm not even bothered.
I had to take a break because I get anxious from watching television like this. I internalize it too much. So I have to like take a break and put on like British baking show, but I'm almost current on every single franchise except for OC. But yeah, so when it starts, to me, you know, Teresa is basically going on like a PR tour throughout the party of just giving the same interview over and over about how Jackie's husband is cheating. And there's something that happens later in the episode where somebody says, well, why didn't you say it to her? And that's what I'm thinking the whole time, is that her whole argument becomes about how, you know, if this is going on, you'd want to know. Yeah. And I see her in this party, in this opening, telling everyone but Jackie.
And that's exactly the point.
And that's just kind of like, to me, the overall message is that she is just, you know, just on a PR tour of rumor spreading at this man's birthday. And there's just no excuse for it.
The milestone of 46 to have everybody gather in the midst of COVID.
When you've never been in the public eye either. Like, this is a pretty new cast member whose husband is now, you know, thrown into the fire of these cheating rumors.
Teresa holds grudges. It shouldn't be surprising to anybody. And Jackie is not innocent either. Even though she did say listen, I'm a Teresa defender. Deal with it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, they've got beef. They don't really like each other.
I actually have a question for you, because this is something I've learned rather recently. Jackie was like a fan of the show, and has a picture with like Teresa signing her cookbook.
Yes.
Loser. I feel like she loses. My whole opinion changes.
Yeah, no, that's what like
Teresa
a lot of people
gets a point for me just for that.
Right. So a lot of people are saying that. I don't know the story around that. Do either of you know?
Jackie, from what I understand, Jackie was just basically like, I was a fan of the show. I was a fan of Teresa.
Well, it'd be like if we got on the show now.
And and then she's like, now I know her. But Jackie, I never really like understood what Jackie, who she is. Like, her first season, when she came on, sorry, Mike,
go ahead.
We're kind of going off. When she came on, from the jump, I did not like her. I didn't like her attitude. I didn't like how she came at these women with this holier-than-thou attitude, and like felt like, you know, I'm a writer. I'm like a parent. What was she?
She's a lawyer.
She's also a lawyer too.
She's a lifestyle.
I heard it a bunch of
times. That's what I So you know,
professional.
She's a hustler. Yeah,
she's a lifestyle expert. So
but she's a writer, and I mean, listen. So,
but what I'm saying is the way that she came at these women. You know the type of women that Teresa and Dolores and like where they come from, right? And Melissa, it's like that old school Italian, Jersey attitude, and Jackie just came at it from like a very different opposite angle, and I just didn't like it. She knew how to push Teresa's buttons, so I think like what Teresa did was fucking awful, absolutely. And what Jackie did in retaliation, I think, was also equally not as great either. So I'm not saying, like, either one is right or wrong.
Right.
I don't even think Jackie did anything in retaliation. Jackie, all she did was, like, say, oh, I heard it. Like, this is what it was like.
Yeah, it was an analogy. I also agree with an analogy. And, you know, we understand that Teresa cannot be logical and ever accept any fault. Like that's the big problem that I have, is that's what always gives me anxiety watching it, is you know what it's like to fight with somebody like that. You know that you could be fighting with somebody and be bringing up a point that you know is right. The sky is blue. No, like, no, it's green. Yeah. Like, there's just some people that you cannot get through to, and other people make allowances for them, and I think that's what happens with Teresa a lot. With the people who really know her know that you need to...
No analogies and no kids.
And which is funny, because as somebody who recently started watching OC for the first time, which is obviously the original Housewives,
OG.
The kids are involved a lot.
Were in the first reunion. The kids were as much a part of the show as the parents were. They actually had their own family.
Yeah, but so is Jersey too. Yeah.
But no, what I'm saying is that in all...
you mean like the drama?
No, in all the franchises, every single one of them, you don't talk about the kids, you don't talk about the kids, you don't talk about the kids. But this show was based on the kids being a part of it, to the point where in the OC, the kids were actually part of their union. They were on a panel of all sitting together talking about it. So the show was based on the entire family, including the kids. I do agree too. Like, if you involve yourself in these shows and you want to be, I don't think the kids should really be brought into it. But I understand what Jackie was trying to do. She did not say, to your point when we were watching it, she didn't say, hey, this is an analogy.
It came after.
Exactly.
But I understood the way she said it. To me, I would have read it as she's making an analogy. But Teresa can't see nuance. No. Teresa's not a nuanced woman. And I think, no, she's not a nuanced woman. Listen. Like, she hears that you're talking shit about my daughter, which she wasn't, but I could understand that Teresa would take it that way.
And I also think... One more thing, Jackie knew exactly what she was doing, though. She knows that that's going to piss her off. She's trying to hurt her. She's trying to make her feel like shit. So
I disagree.
Oh, well,
that I do disagree. I think that Jackie, in her mind, was making a very pointed point that she thought maybe Teresa would have gone, but she never would have. It was stupid. It was definitely stupid. I just don't think that necessarily Jackie... I think she was going.
You don't think Jackie was malicious for it?
No, I think she was trying to make a big point. I think she was trying to use a really extreme example. That's just me. But maybe it's because I fought with people like Teresa, and I think that maybe this might get through. And it did not land. It did not land.
I think Teresa got so mad because it slaps harder because it's true.
I'm telling you, please stop saying that about
Gia. It's possible.
It is possible, but...
We got friends of the show. Friends of the show DMing us.
Who?
Saying that, they hear the same things about her out in Rutgers.
Listen, if anyone's parents would have heard what we were doing at 20 years old, they probably would have heard the same
40.
And listen, I don't think it's... Actually, I don't really care if it's true, because whatever, Gia, live your life. But I think that, to me, Jackie was in trying to make a point, which was a very stupid point to make to a person who was never going to hear it.
An insane person.
and same person.
Incapable.
We only
didn't
make it through the first scene. I'm sorry. I took a
No.
long time telling my whole story here with the Teresa thing.
That's
I'm
alright.
just infuriated every time I watch New Jersey.
Yo, it
just
is
because of
perfectly
that.
fine because the rest of the episode, honestly, kind of a dud.
Yeah, it's
And
kind of a dud.
It's all about
Nothing happens beyond that,
No,
really.
it was still all about recapping this fight for the most part.
Yeah,
So-
you're
Really,
right.
I mean, I do understand though, like,
and telling each other about the fight and how everybody finds out about the fight.
Yeah,
and their
I think
reactions
everyone
to
was
the
on
fight.
kind of the same page.
Teresa
Yes,
is also
yes.
Teresa likes, people like to say that Teresa's dumb. She knows exactly what she's doing too. She's keeping a fucking storyline going. She knows how to get a paycheck too, Miss Teresa.
I think Teresa's up there with like the top housewives of all
Oh,
time.
100,000%. 100,000%. She, to me, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt
No,
you,
you're
because
we're gonna say the same thing.
this
yeah.
is why I love her. She bears fucking all of it. She may control to a certain degree with producers, like what's shown and what's not shown, but for the most part, nobody's had a storyline like her.
No,
Nobody forget it.
And nobody is as ubiquitous in the terms of like the fact that she's a household name. Like Mike, you could probably speak to this. You're new to watching
I
the
even
show.
knew who she was.
Exactly.
I knew
like,
exactly who she
like
was.
even like
and
my
I
husband.
even knew like even more like that her brother was on the show.
Yeah.
And like I knew that her husband
She's-
got deported and shit like that.
Yeah, she's a household name in that fact, which is not.
Especially in this area.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially
maybe not in
for us.
Nebraska. You're more interested in like a professional bowler or something.
But I don't think anyone
You're
in
an
Nebraska knows anything more about
Yeah.
the Lincoln
the
Housewives
high
than
schools,
the
high
than the
school
Jersey
quarterback,
Housewives.
Uncle Rico. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like she is a household name because she is famous. She is a public figure, for better or worse. And she did do a lot of entrepreneurial things. Like, she had her, her cookbook and then everything she went through in the public eye with Joe Jude. So, like, she is probably one of the most, iconic housewives ever, whether you like her or not. And I happen to find her infuriating just for so many reasons, which I'm
she makes good TV.
But that's what's most important, is that she makes good TV, and so they should pander to her. The producer should do what she wants. But that doesn't mean that she's omnipotent and that she doesn't do things wrong, which she
I know
obviously
that.
does.
I know that. Listen, when I defend Teresa, I only defend her because she just...
You enjoy the TV she produces.
She just produces such great fucking TV. And yes, she's tone deaf. She gets in these like very like tunnel vision bullshit, cuckoo crazy.
I saw a great
moods.
Yeah,
I get it. I
saw
get
a great meme where it talked about the mental gymnastics that she does.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like what I always go back to. She does these mental gymnastics to make herself right and be a hypocrite when literally I have it written in my notes later. We're not even fucking there yet. But Bravo does a flashback where they show Teresa fighting with Kim D.
Yes, Kim
about
D.
the same exact scenario where Kim D is spreading unsubstantiated rumors about Teresa's husband cheating. And
Which
Teresa
ended
is
up being
basically
true.
but Teresa's basically saying, do you have pictures? Do you have proof? And Kim D's like, nah. And she's like, well, then don't fucking say anything. And then Teresa's going and doing the same thing that she fought against, but because it suits Teresa. So Teresa has this way of manipulating and mental gymnastics to make herself right. And I've fought with people like this. We're related to people like this. Our cousins are people like this. Our sisters, our in-laws, our best friends. They are like this. And when you're a logical person, it's infuriating.
It hurts.
And that's why, for me, Melissa Gorga has made one of the biggest 180s for me. When I can remember where I was when the Gorgas showed up on Real Housewives of New Jersey, and I was like, I don't want anything to do with this. I'm done with them. This is so over the top and so staged, and they brought this woman, Melissa, in just to fuck with Teresa, and I was furious because I was a Teresa fan. And I hated her, and she has made such a 180 for me, much like Jennifer has. We'll get into that too.
Don't get too deep into it because Mike still.
Oh my god! I forgot.
Still, no, that's all right.
But Mike still doesn't have a lot of the history.
The water. Yeah.
So just to give a basic,
in the deep
when
end.
Melissa came in, a lot of people come in hot in their first season, and to me, Melissa came in on fucking lava.
Oh,
like
really?
she was
like a
so
comet
over the
coming
top.
through the atmosphere, breaking
Just,
up with it.
just like extra and very like look at me, and people still don't like her.
I do.
Because you don't. All my friends, I'm like the only one of my friends who actually like her, only because I understand her position to be fighting with a psychotic person like her sister-in-law and trying to be the voice of reason, and just not getting anywhere. So anyway, just to take it back to, Teresa I have a very visceral reaction to when she goes crazy, and to me the next scene, which we haven't even got to, Teresa calls up Melissa and says, I met with your friend. Yeah, I hope you're not friends with her after this.
Yeah,
and poor Melissa's saying, it's my daughter's birthday. She's swimming in the pool, and she totally just glazes over like, I gotta tell her it's a happy birthday, but back to me.
Of course.
Fighting with your friend.
It's show stuff.
Yeah, so I'm
this
back
is gonna
to
be
me.
on the air.
Yeah. So, and like I said, I only bring that up because Melissa, I'm not like a staunch Melissa fan, like I'll stand behind her for anything, but she's endeared herself to me. And then Teresa tells her that she only told her family.
Well, so Teresa calls,
Like,
this
what?
whole thing. Teresa because Teresa creates these scenarios in her mind to make it work for her. We know that.
Yeah.
She makes it work for her. So Teresa calls Melissa to recap the whole fight.
Says that she lies. She says she only told her family, but she told anyone who would listen. Obviously, you can tell when Teresa's drunk, and I don't fault her for that, because when you're drunk and you're angry, you're going to say whatever the fuck you want. So she's at Evan's birthday. She's talking shit about the birthday boy at his own birthday to whoever will listen, knowing full well that there's people there, there's the cameras there, like that's not wasted on anybody. And it's just like exhausting to try to tell Teresa like that wasn't the place. And
not even close to the place or the method or the
and if you're gonna
anything.
if you're really saying that, if it was me I'd want to know, I'd want to know on a 1-to-1, even with Bravo cameras there at a fucking cafe or something.
Yeah.
Or with people around saying, well, I heard your husband cheating. That was just such a terrible place for it.
And I loved every minute of it.
I know you did. That's it's so funny that like we're so alike, but in this we differ so much because you are so. I love Teresa's TV quality, absolutely, but I like Melissa. And you don't, and nobody else does. It's just so funny to me because I didn't ever want to like Melissa, and I never thought I would, but I do.
I have many thoughts about Melissa, but we could get into that. That's for another. That's for when we start binging.
My favorite part of that exchange was when Teresa was saying that she's a weak woman.
Yeah.
She was like, because I'd want to know.
A strong woman would want
to know. So she's a weak woman.
But I'd want to know one-on-one, not through the grapevine.
Yeah. But the way she conveyed it was just fantastic to me. I just loved every second of that.
And then
Mare gave her a point for that.
And then we had And then we had some really great scenes where, Jennifer's mom, that was such a crazy scene when we saw.
Well, let's back up a second because we have to get back to what Melissa's, So Teresa says all this stuff and Melissa basically says, well, she obviously misunderstood.
Oh, right.
She knows that Teresa, she probably just heard Gia and then blacked out, which I think even Teresa said. She blacks out and she can't hear
I think that's true.
anything. She can't hear anything else. And, you could see it with Teresa. She's demolishing. She says I'm going to demolish your girlfriend. So, yes.
Hilarious.
Then we cut to Jennifer goes to see her mom. And, we learn in the first episode that her mother and her father are no longer living together. The father is living with Jennifer.
But they're still married.
Yes, correct. They are still married. And so her mom is very sad over the marriage and says that she's mad that the father has turned her kids against her.
I don't know. The father was pretty convincing last week as the sympathetic character.
I agree.
And mom looks like a
manipulator?
I wouldn't even say manipulator. Listen, she could throw hands.
Yeah.
She looked like a big, strong, tough lady, like she could fuck people up. And Dad was like a little like he'd been beaten in the corner for a couple of years.
I thought it was, I don't know. I like seeing Jennifer with her family. I mean, what are your thoughts on Jennifer?
I don't know enough about her yet, really. I mean...
Yeah, that's true. We haven't really seen that much.
No, exactly. You told me a little bit of the backstory, and based on that, everything seems cool. I find arranged marriages fucking weird. I initially and still kind of think that her mother abuses her father, and she's married to a magician. Those are the things that I think about Jennifer and her family.
Then we cut to Dolores goes to see her mom. And her mom... we learned that her mom has 15 grandkids. And the kids are always in Dolores' mom's house. And because of COVID, none of them have really been there. They just go to see her at her backyard by the gate. So, her house is quiet and she misses her kids. But then Dolores starts talking about David with her mother about how he can't commit.
This is so weird still.
Okay. What's your hot take on this, Mike? I'm curious what you think about this.
Well, I mean, we haven't got to this point in the episode, but my hot take is that this fucking David guy slings dick, and that's all she's about. And she's hanging out with Frank for the emotional side, but she knows that he's going to fucking cheat on her again, because she told me that he cheated on her a bunch of times. And so she's getting the slanging dick from fucking this guy who's letting the son study there and whatnot. And then she's just living there for the emotional and support that she wants from the other guy.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
Did I just hit the nail on the head right there?
Yeah, she's in this weird. Listen, I shouldn't say it's weird. Everybody to each their own.
Whatever works.
Your families look different.
100%
for everyone.
Yes.
This was the first episode where I got any sort of personality from David and any sort of taste of him, and actually seeing him with Frank and Tanya, I loved it.
Yeah, they're best friends.
But you could see his personality, his ball-busteriness, his sense of humor, and to me, endeared himself to me. But I understand, we always joke around, my parents are divorced and they're friendly. Not to the point of Dolores living and Frank. To each other,
yeah.
My mom took care of my dad, when he got hurt, when she was still with my stepdad. So, that's different. But that's what David did for Frank. And to me, that's a family. To love somebody is not to abandon them just because your marriage didn't work out. But, I mean, obviously we all know Dolores and Frank are too close for comfort for most of us. But to me, this was the first time where I actually saw what Dolores would see in David because of how he interacted with her ex-husband. To me, that is such a telling point of what a cool guy that he must be, that if he could be friendly with his girlfriend's ex-husband to that point and say, listen, man, you need to live with me because you don't have anyone to take care of you. You need me. That's fucking awesome. I think that's amazing.
Awesome or is it weird?
No, I don't think it's weird.
Is it because what makes you feel attracted to a guy? Oh, he's really nice to the guy who I really like. When he fell down a job site ladder or some shit,
No, see, to me,
by taking care of that guy, she endeared herself to another guy.
Like I said,
she loves the first guy so much.
No, that's what I mean. Is that my mom, took care of my dad. My dad got really hurt, and she was living with my stepdad at the time. And she was like, "Buddy's got nowhere else to go. We got burned. He needs someone to take care of him." And Ken was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
They were cool with it.
But being cool with it is one thing, and having it make you more attracted to the other person is another, I feel.
I guess that's a little... I mean, I'm more attracted. Dolores never said she was more attracted. I'm saying I'm more attracted to David for it. That's me. Dolores, at least in that episode, didn't say it.
Okay.
But to me, I
thought I might have missed it in the episode.
I thought it was so cute. And Frank was so insightful, too, when he just kind of said to David, I think that maybe you're just dragging your feet and you have a commitment problem and you just don't want to be married. And I don't know enough about David to know what his is he married before?
Yeah,
Do we know?
Nope. He's always been a bachelor, I think.
And by the way, they said that he was a jerk off. Jerk off is my favorite word of all time.
Well, that's a real Jersey thing to say.
Such a Jersey word. We just use that in such a
J-O.
J-O. I'm the jerk
what a
off.
J-O.
Yeah, what a jerk off.
Like a jerk off.
Yeah, and you're the jerk off of business.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
Jerk off is my favorite too. So then we cut to all the girls are packing, and they cut back and forth between all the girls rehashing the Teresa and Jackie drama.
Right.
Yeah.
We get it. Jackie's upset. Teresa doesn't give a shit.
She wants her there so she can fucking bully her.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. So Jackie doesn't go on the trip. Margaret thinks it's a good opportunity to tell Teresa that she's being a fucking asshole.
Grow the fuck up.
Yeah, Teresa, cut the bullshit, say you're sorry so we can all get back to being good.
I want to ask you a question. Would you have gone on the trip if you were Jackie? What do you think? If you could place yourself in her shoes.
I feel like she's in a lose-lose.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want to,
I probably would have, to be quite honest.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
I feel like
I
it's
appreciate her decision, and I do believe that there was no good that would have come of it, and I would have regretted going. But when I'm thinking about it, Jackie said something when she's talking to her kids where she's like, I had my bags packed, and now they all get to go on this trip, and I'm not going. Like, if I felt like I wasn't wrong, it would have been hard for me to not go and try to enjoy and maybe forge some relationships with somebody who maybe could have had my back, and then we could have had the conversation. You know what I mean?
Some side channels and stuff like that. Yeah,
and
some World War II shit.
But when you're dealing with Teresa, who is completely illogical, I think that she was smart in not going, but I don't know. I was just curious what you would do.
So what you're saying is Jackie's being a martyr.
Oh my god, we used to call my brother a martyr all the time. That word just gives me such fucking joy. It's just such a funny thing to call somebody. Italians love calling someone a martyr. Was she being a martyr? I think a little bit, especially with the text to everyone. But Teresa, have a good time. Have a drink for me. Which I never thought of it that way, Mare. That's such a good point. She is kind of being a fucking martyr and being like, oh, I didn't get to go on my trip. I never thought of it that way. But I would have went, because I'm on a Bravo show and you're supposed to go on the trips, so go on the trips. Yeah. And whether it incites drama or not, you're going to kind of get yourself to a further place of are we going to be on a feud? Is this going to be the whole season? Are we going to be fucked up this whole time? Or are we going to have a moment where we can have a conversation on this trip and maybe repair something? I would have went. Because I would have wanted, if I had 4 kids, I'd want to fucking leave.
Yeah. I probably would have went too.
So
I probably would have went too because if all the girls have your back,
they seem to. That's what was surprising.
What are you worried about?
But I think if they were both there and the confrontation happened, then sometimes
sides
kind of get split a little bit.
Who was afraid of Teresa, which is what it comes down to.
And I think everybody there without Jackie kind of lent a better spot for them to all be like, look, you need to grow up a little bit. You need to fucking do the right thing here.
Because they had the space to reason with her without Jackie being there
to trigger her into more aggressive behavior on her part, which would ruin that. So
that's a good point.
This is actually weird for Housewives because it usually stems the
usually
fucking drama,
there.
and it's more this is more de-escalation than anything. This is they defunded the Housewives.
This was one of the most de-escalating trips where everyone seemed to be on the person who wasn't their side. Does that make sense? Usually it skews towards the person who's there being told how right they were, but these women were actually being, to me, kind of neutral and trying to facilitate
I also don't think they've left yet. They're still up there. They're still up there.
You know what's it's
only been a day, so this is the day that they get Teresa back on board with Jackie, and then the next day there's
you know what, Mike,
more
you're
crazy
absolutely
shit
right.
I have to say,
early into it, we don't know
yet. I have
there's so much more to come.
When the girls are going, when the girls are on the bus on their way up to the house, they're kind of telling Teresa that she's wrong for what she's did, but not really. They're not coming out and just saying it.
That's what infuriates me. That's what infuriates me is that everyone panders to Teresa because they know what it's like. They have enough experience with her that they know what it's like to fight with an illogical person. They say the sky's blue and they say the sky's green. That's what it comes down to is that, especially Margaret now, I think has kind of learned her. Because to me, she is really your narrator voice of reason, where she kind of goes where where the truth goes. That's just to me, and I happen to be
my
a
first
huge
impression,
Murder fan.
I did first impressions last episode, and I thought that she was the adult in the room.
Thank you. That's a great way to put it. She is.
Though she does do some say and do some stupid shit.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Say.
I think I
But
fancy myself a Marge. I think I fancy myself like the person.
I think I'm a Marge too.
Yeah, like no, you are. You're logical. You can argue both sides. You're a ride or die. You are. You're a Dolores. I'm a Marge.
I know I'm a Dolores. I don't care.
It's a good way to be. If I had to pick
Am
one
I your
person
David
to be
or
my
Frank?
friends.
You're
Frank.
You're Frank.
You're Frank because you're sexy.
I'll take it.
Yes, I'm flirting with my cousin's husband.
And I'm blushing.
Come at me. No, yeah, but to me, like, Marge is.
And look
kind
at
of
me
like,
sitting like a jerk off, not saying anything.
So
letting it happen. Yes.
Listen, you know it's all in good fun. But to me, Marge is like I like reasonable people. I'm a logic person. That's probably why Teresa makes my head spin. But like, Marge kind of tries to mediate, and I appreciate that because that's how I feel like the Marge in a lot of my friendships. But Teresa, when you fight with her, like the way they're talking to her on the bus, they are trying to appeal to her sensibilities and be like, well, listen. And you even hear Gia shortly after.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
That's not too long after. But what I'm saying is that, they're trying to appeal to the fact they're trying to say this was an analogy. And she's just not hearing it.
She doesn't.
So they give up. She gets tunnel vision. Marge says, like, okay, we're going to give it a break. Yeah. We're going to let that sink into her weave, and then we're going to come back to it.
Yeah, so them even trying to say anything, she goes off. She still goes off. She blows her casket. She blows her casket. And it's not making any fucking sense whatsoever.
She goes into almost like a little routine on the bus. Like, she was making everybody laugh and stuff. Yeah. She was cracking jokes.
Yeah, she's like me.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Lisa just left the room. So we could quickly talk about Frank and David going to the shooting range. David took care of Frank. So apparently we discussed this earlier in the episode, but David took care of Frank when he fell at the job, which was very cute and endearing.
Yeah, I gave Frank a point for that.
Yep. Or Frank or David a point?
Frank for taking care of him.
No, David took care of Frank.
David for taking care of Frank. Whichever. I'm going to confuse these fucks all the time.
David and Frank talk about Dolores. Ooh. Frank calls David a jerk-off and says he has a commitment problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like he does.
Yeah, and so does Frank. But
yeah, it seems like they both do.
They're both dating Dolores. That's really what's going on. They're both dating really Dolores. Weird. They're both dating her.
Yes, they absolutely are. They're all okay with it. So, I mean,
like you said, Mike. Like you
said, on him.
Yeah.
David. She has a sexual relationship with David, and an emotional relationship with Frank. He is the father of their kids. Well, they still live together.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. So it is what it is.
I do have an associate's degree in psychology from the University of Phoenix. So.
And I have a minors from the Northeastern University.
So then we get back up to the house, and I just had to make a note. When all the girls were picking their rooms, they're so laid back compared to every other franchise.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
They're even more laid back than Big Brother.
Yes. They're so much more laid back. Even they have no. I mean, it's COVID, but they have no glam squad.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. They're doing their own makeup. Yeah. They're sharing bedrooms. They don't give a shit.
I'm going to tell you why. Because Jersey is the realist. Yeah. We know that. And because they're just happy to be in a social situation. I don't think they really give a shit about where they sleep as long as the bed is comfortable.
Yeah.
They're not spending much time in there because they're going to be social. I just think to me it's like the least important thing. And they're... every other... let's talk about... I mean... Melissa was the Ramona, picking her room first, and then Jennifer had her shady moment about saying that she wanted the biggest mirror, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, I think they know that every room is going to be nice, so like, who gives a shit? Just go and take your room and then go have fun. Like,
So all the girls go out to dinner, and of course...
Marge wishes she brought gummies.
Oh, that
was fucking hilarious.
So funny, yeah.
Shout out.
That makes me like her even more than I already
did.
Yeah.
So they all go out to dinner at this really cute restaurant in Lake George.
Yep.
And of course, Jackie comes up again.
Of course.
Teresa, again, goes off and says...
She does
starts talking about listing, all right, what about last year and my rumors and what she said? Okay, and then the Margaret says, yeah, Teresa, but there were pictures.
Yeah.
Right.
There were pictures. And then Teresa doesn't fucking skip a beat. Well, Margaret, what about what you said about Jennifer and her husband?
Which in Beverly Hills would have been a 3-episode would have been a 3-episode dinner table episode about her throwing her under the bus. Technically, like she just brushed it off. I mean, it was like, and then turned it into the next argument.
So, but Margaret basically says. Margaret basically, she owns up to it and she says, yeah, I was trying to hurt Jennifer.
And then I apologized.
Teresa isn't having any of it. She isn't wrong with what she's saying, but we get it. She needs to apologize. That's it. She needs to apologize. The only way that there's going to be peace amongst any of these women is if she apologizes, and we know she's not going to do it.
But that's what keeps coming back to me, is that Teresa doesn't want peace. Teresa knows that she is the biggest fish in this pond.
She's the USA, baby.
Teresa.
She's the military-industrial complex.
Teresa is New Jersey. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if they were to get rid of Teresa, this wouldn't be one of the most popular franchises of the Housewives. So they do cater to Teresa in this sense, and Teresa knows that if she doesn't like somebody, they're going to keep her around for the story, for the fight, for the subject matter. Mm-hmm. But like, Teresa doesn't want to have a friendship with Jackie, to me. So like, she went on this fucking, just slander tour at Evan's birthday because she doesn't like Jackie and she wants to hurt Jackie. Like, that's what it all comes down to, because she's pissed that Jackie's friends with her sister-in-law, who she doesn't like either. She doesn't like her sister-in-law either. Let's be honest. She'd love if Melissa wasn't popular and she was off of it. So like, let's be honest.
Well, don't get too deep into that, because Mike still doesn't know any of that backstory either.
I need to be able to be heard.
I was just going to say, we have just
take a day off of work and you need to binge.
We have just scratched the surface of Lisa's thoughts on this.
You need to binge. But anyway.
You should title this podcast Lisa's Thoughts on New Jersey.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. No, it's quite all right. I remember when Vesuvius blew up too in Rome. Oh, right over there.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Some ice on my butt. It's fine.
You're all good. Don't sweat it.
It's fine.
It's not a problem. So after all this, Teresa also tries to blame everybody else. I love that about her.
That's the underlying thing.
I love that about her too, babe.
And then we cut to Jackie buzzing her kid's hair very angrily, to where the kid is fucking like getting their hairs yanked out.
Part.
Yeah, it was great. She's just like, these motherfuckers, they're all up at Lake George, and this kid's like sitting there crying like, Mom, you're pulling my hair.
I don't care where you're kind of just leaving me alone.
She's like, why couldn't I go to Lake George too? Why did I step aside just because this bitch, she's wrong, I'm right.
Yeah, well, we've learned, she said
I still liked her, I don't
she
care.
was, who, Jackie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you do. Ugh. She basically says she's trying to keep a happy face in front of her kids, even though she's sad. Again, what a fucking martyr. Let's move on. So I thought it was really cute that all the girls were getting ready and they're like complimenting each other on their plastic surgery.
Oh my God, yes.
Another great thing I love about Jersey. None of the other women on any of the other franchises ever fucking talk about their plastic surgery.
Whereas we're just so happy to share who we went to, what we got
you
done.
Look great.
Do you like it? Then here's what you gotta do.
Yeah. Like Beverly Hills, they have completely different fucking faces and you can't even talk about it.
Right.
But... So I like
Jersey.
Not in Jersey.
No.
I think it's refreshing.
Who'd you go to? Oh, the guy on the side of
Dr.
Route
Wise
3.
and Wayne, guys. Check him out.
That's probably where Dolores goes.
He's on the side of Route 46
amazing.
by the Dunkin' Donuts.
He is on Route 46.
Is that the guy that's in a shopping center, like right after the
I don't go to the shopping center for my lip injection.
I said after.
Come on.
But I did say, I wrote a note that says, who styles these women? Margaret's wearing like a really cute dress, but then like this weird cardigan sweater that my fucking grandmother could have knitted.
So Marge has her own fashion line, and that's what she does, Macbeth. I mean, like, she's a fashion person, like, She just wears from her line. I think she kind of marches
Oh,
to the
that's her
beat of her
line?
own drum. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
whether it's her line or not, like
I
she
think
just
I knew
has
that.
a very, particular style.
Well, it's not for me.
Yeah, I mean, and some of them have glam and some of them do not. And
Teresa
it's
coming
when
out
her and
now.
her husband went to the Jimmy Buffett concerts when they fucking follow him around.
And eat edibles.
Yeah, and eat edibles and fucking drink
this is what I like about New
margaritas.
Jersey is that you don't spend, 15 minutes of the episode everyone fighting about who's not ready for dinner because
That's
they're waiting for their
true,
friend spot.
yeah.
Like that's one of the things that drives
ready,
me crazy about
Yeah.
the Beverly Hills is like they're waiting for Dorit who's taking her pictures by her fucking
By the
window
By the window.
in her Gucci and waiting for her hairpins to set. This is like real.
Yeah.
You get to actually have real conversation because you're not waiting for all the superfluous.
Sorry though,
shit.
Teresa was wearing like a Sweet 16 dress.
That dress was bad.
Oh,
That
it was
white
so
dress with the
bad
black
with the black belt.
She would have wore that in 2004. But
Yeah.
now she just looks better.
Well, we're almost at the end of the episode, but the two last things that I wrote was basically Gia basically telling her mother to fucking apologize.
Yeah,
which
grow
I thought
up.
was like,
Grow
grow
the
up.
fuck up.
And again, we must protect Gia at all costs. I love her. I
Yeah,
love
the
her.
last person you said that about was Whitney Rose, and we changed that tune in 10 episodes.
Whitney Rose, we're just getting to know. I've watched Gia grow up. Okay? I've watched her grow up.
You know what?
What's weird about this franchise is that it is old. Like we knew Teresa from forever ago when she was just, we've seen her come through so many iterations of Teresa, like the Teresa paying cash for all of her furniture, and then we see them get into all their trouble, and like we know people that are like them. We know.
Furniture,
oh, girl, you gotta, Michael. We gotta spend a day together. Mare's gonna go to work. I'm gonna come here.
Wow,
we're gonna binge.
It's like that.
I promise. I'll keep my hands to myself. Mare's husband's adorable. I don't know if anybody ever seen any video or any pictures, but the husband of the Don't Want to Watch is adorable.
So basically,
and we're gonna watch old shit.
No, bitch, I'm gonna watch it with my husband because the show is called "Don't Want to Watch That" with Marianne and Michael.
My husband don't want to watch it with me. No. If I bring Joe, can I watch it with your husband?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Then that's fine.
Yes.
Then that's okay.
And
Joe should host one with you guys with about Marvel movies.
Oh, God. Nobody wants to hear this giant nerd who woke up at 3 in the morning. He pretended like the dog wanted to go out and so he could watch WandaVision at 3 in the morning, but he was really happy that she woke him so he could watch it.
WandaVision is amazing.
Yeah, I know
awesome.
it's amazing, but do you wake up at 3 in the morning to watch it before anybody else and then fucking post a story about it? No, my husband does.
I'm gonna pee my pants.
But anyway, agreed about Gia. I used to hate. I think Teresa's a wonderful mom. I have to say,
yeah.
As much as she drives me crazy, I do think she's like a good person. I think that she's just an infuriating person. But
she was a great mom.
A wonderful
she
mom.
fucking stood by that dirtbag to the very bitter end.
Yeah.
To the bitter end with him.
And she let us come on her story with her, like, as
Mm-hmm.
much as, like, she was real about it. Like, we saw her go through all the bullshit. She lost both her parents.
All right.
Went to jail.
Don't get too into it because of Mike. Because Mike doesn't know.
This is all public knowledge. This isn't...
Not for me, though. Not for me.
He's
I don't want
jumping.
to... Yo, you guys talk about this on your podcast.
Yeah, we told... Mike is coming into it.
I'm still listening. I understand it's public knowledge that the audience probably knows, but I don't know it.
It's not public knowledge. Okay, fine. So anyway, Teresa went through a lot, and she's invited us in a lot, and I thought that Mike is a very well-read news person who opens his Instagram every now and then and sees a fucking headline.
Girl,
so I apologize.
no,
So anyway, so Teresa's been through a lot, and again, she's invited us into it, and I think she's a good mom, and this is no surprise because he knows that they're not together anymore, and
yes, he does know that.
Okay, so Gia has been a huge part of the show when it comes to talking about her dad and talking about her grandparents and stuff. I think she's a good person, and I think she's very well, wise beyond her years. That doesn't mean she doesn't snort coke in the bathroom. And I think
Rutgers.
And I just think that doesn't make her a bad person, but it's very possible she does, and maybe Jackie heard it, and it's an analogy. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Yo, on that note, thank you.
I mean, there really wasn't really. The only other thing that happened was Jennifer and Melissa.
Oh, that was big.
Want to start fresh?
That was big. That's right. That was big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty heartfelt apology too.
They seemed...
they all seem like adults like this episode for the most part.
And again, I'm sorry that Mike doesn't watch all of these, and I forgot that's the whole part of this podcast that I totally missed. So I apologize for my actions for the entire podcast.
Sometimes you get run up. I
got into deep cuts, but what you'll see, Mike, as you get more into watching these is that people have a hot entrance. Like when they come in their first season, they come in hot.
Like a Spychala.
And they don't know what they're doing, and they want to be a storyline, and they want to be meme-worthy and memorable. So they come in super hot, which is why I hated Melissa in her first season. It's why I hated Jennifer last season. But
Jennifer was new last season?
Yes, this is only her second season.
This is her third season.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's her third season.
I only remember one reunion look.
Yeah. Because the first season...
You count them by reunion looks?
I do.
I'm pretty sure it was her third. How long has Jackie been on?
I thought only 2. Whether it's 2 or...
I think it's 2. I think it's 3. I think it's
You're probably 3 right, because this whole last year's a blur to me. It didn't exist.
The first season, Jackie and Jennifer had beef because... Jackie wrote that whole
article.
Right.
The article is not part of it. You're right. But my point is that when people start in, they settle in. Like, people come in really hot in this show.
Yeah.
And I hate everyone in their first season. And then to me, they kind of settle in and I think kind of find their groove.
Okay.
And I think that's what happened to me with particularly Jennifer. You love Jennifer, Mare. I know you do.
She's a little Teresa.
And don't say that because I don't like her as much. But to me, she's kind of like settled in, and her and Melissa making up to me would be cool because I'd like to kind of see what they can kind of
if they could be
cultivate
friends,
together in the show. Because eventually I think Teresa's going to be done. I think she's going to have had
she's
enough.
Exhausted, even though she's going to be in the spin-off Real Housewives vacation trip.
Oh my God, we need a whole other podcast about that.
Yeah.
But we're at an hour. I think we should end it.
Okay.
Any other final thoughts, Mike?
For me, no. This was just a pretty boring episode. It was like when you go to like have a class and you learn something exciting, and then the next week you just cover the same thing again, like recap.
Correct.
And you're like, oh, I thought we were gonna maybe expand.
I have a feeling that's what I have. I mean, I don't know.
That's all right.
I kind of have a feeling that's what this. A lot of these, even with Atlanta, with COVID being a factor.
No, I hear you.
I think it's going to be a weird.
No, believe me, I saw it in sports. I know the whole deal. It's gonna be some weird shit going on.
And the thing about Beverly Hills, it's always a recap. It's always recapping last week. It's just like, this was like
drama.
Recapping the same fight.
Yeah, but that's oh shit, I dropped my notebook. But that's all she wrote.
But for the points of the episode, Teresa had 3 points. Dolores' mom had a point, and Frank had a point. So Teresa won the episode.
Wait, why did Dolores' mom have? Oh, because
Lisa gave her the point. Lisa gave her the point when she said
shame
that.
On you.
Oh, yeah,
she said she should have told the doc about the surgery.
That's right.
She goes, shame on you. I have it written here. Shame on you. Why?
Yeah.
1 point, Mom.
Dolores didn't tell David about the episode.
But thanks for checking us out. You can find us anywhere on podcast platforms. The show is I Don't Want to Watch That. The website is don'twantowatchthat.com. And the Twitter
Lisa,
and Instagrams are at Don't Want to Watch.
Yeah. I'll first of all open with an apology because obviously I did not play by the rules and just talked about so much that I wasn't supposed to.
It was great.
But it was a blast. You can find me at Leesy Does It, Leesy Does It. And I hope to be back. This is amazing. Keep watching the podcast.
I don't know.
I don't know. I might be kicked out of the house forever at this point.
I don't know.
I fucked up the rules, but it was a great
She really
time.
has chutzpah. I gotta tell you.
Play it again.
She really has chutzpah. I gotta tell you.
She does.
I got a couple little drops over here.
All right, guys.
Great. Mare and Mike, you do a great job. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And see you guys later.
Bye. Oh, we're gonna do Salt Lake City soon.
Yeah.
The final episode
Tomorrow.
and back to New York soon.
Yes.
Alrighty, that's it. Bye.